Rabiul Sani, and 1443, 3rd of December 2021. With the permission of all Shaykhs, my respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our Halaqah. I have the honor and privilege to introduce today's Halaqah number 620. Our honored speaker tonight is Ustad Ahmad Ansary. He's appearing for 56th time tonight. May Allah bless you, Ustad Ahmad Ansary, for your contribution to this Halaqah. May bless you and your parents for that. Then we have our Quran session number 122, initiated by my Imam, Ahmad Shibli. He is, the reciter is our Imam Abu Yazid. He's appearing for 118th time tonight. And he'll be doing Surah Al-An'am, Surah number 6, ayah number 36 onwards, please. So may Allah bless you, Imam Abu Yazid, you and all the people who were deceased, especially your mother and brother who passed away recently. May Allah grant them the highest place in Jannah.
Allahumma ameen. Jazakallah khair, Abdul Majid.
Then we have my Imam, Muhammad Shibli itself. He's appearing for 337 times tonight, doing tafsir and translation of the Holy Quran that he does so beautifully. And along with his schedule that he has in Islamic Society of Center Jersey and many other engagements, he does that by the same token. But he still makes time for our Halaqah. All the Halaqah members do appreciate that, what he does for us. Jazakallah khair. And then we go to the timeline. This is 15 and 30 and 15-minute time slot. And inshallah, I think we shall try to abide by that time slot itself. And the floor belongs to Imam Muhammad, please.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Abdul Majid. Jazakallah khair. Sheikh Abu Yazid.
حبيبنا شيخ محمد حياكم الله.
أنا بدي إياك بكينا وأنت عم تقرأ.
الله أكبر. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله.
يلا تفضل يا أخي.
زادك الله من فضله يا شيخ إن شاء الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى يبعثهم الله ثم إليه يرجعون وقالوا لولا نزل عليه آية من ربه قل إن الله قادر على أن ينزل آية ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون وما من دابة في الأرض ولا طائر يطير بجناحيه إلا أمم أمثالكم ما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء ثم إلى ربهم يحشرون والذين كذبوا بآياتنا صم وبكم في الظلمات من يشاء الله يضلله ومن يشاء يجعله على صراط مستقيم قل أرأيتكم إن أتاكم عذاب الله أو أتتكم الساعة أغير الله تدعون إن كنتم صادقين بل إياه تدعون فيكشف ما تدعون إليهم إن شاء وتنسون ما تشركون ولقد أرسلنا إلى أمم من قبلك فأخذناهم بالبأساء والضراء لعلهم يتضرعون فلولا إذ جاءهم بأسنا تضرعوا ولكن قست قلوبهم وزين لهم الشيطان ما كانوا يعملون فلما نسوا ما ذكروا به فتحنا عليهم أبواب كل شيء حتى إذا فرحوا بما أوتوا أخذناهم بغتة فإذا هم مبلسون فقطع دابر القوم الذين ظلموا والحمد لله رب العالمين. صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. جزاك الله خير. And I want all the brother, all the sister to know, special in the day of Jum'ah when Sheikh Abu Yazid, I'm sure he give long khutbah, and the one who give khutbah Jum'ah became very, very tired. And Jazakallah khair, we appreciate his time, we appreciate his recitation. Inshallah, all that will be in his record in the day of judgment. Inshallah.
اللهم آمين. جزاكم الله خير أنتم يا شيخنا أيضا. حياكم الله.
شكرا شيخ أبو يزيد. شكرا.
الله فيك.
شيخ حمد تفضل يا أخي.
الله يزيد فضلك ويطول عمرك ويرحم والدينا ووالديك. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على هديه إلى يوم الدين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. My dear respected Imam, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, our beloved nephew Ahmad allowed me to greet all of you with the Islamic greeting, and the meaning of this greeting to our viewer locally, nationally, internationally, to say to all of them peace and the blessing of Allah be upon you all. And when we initiate this greeting to each other as a Muslim, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The recitation of tonight and by Walhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the entire world. Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. And that is the beginning of Surah Al-Fatiha, the beginning of many, many surah. All the time, in good time, in bad time, please try to remember all the time to say Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. But the beginning of the recitation of tonight, I have a personal story to share it with you, to be very careful when you open the Quran Kareem to start reciting the Quran Kareem. Pay attention not to finish the khatma or the surah or the ruba or the juz'a very quickly. Read between the line. Read between the dot. Read between the word. This verse, إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموت يبعثهم الله ثم إليه يرجعون. It was a test from a professor in Jami'atul Azhar to one of my friends as a student, and the professor tried to tell the student, did you know how to read Quran? And in the time of the test, what the professor said, he read the entire verse one shot. إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى يبعثهم الله ثم إليه يرجعون. And he said to the student, start your recitation from here. And because the professor recited the whole verse in one shot, the student followed that professors. And he recited the whole verse in one shot. He tell him, leave the room, you fail. Come next year, when you know how you recite the Quran Kareem, you will be a student of University of Al-Azhar University. I know the name of the student, I know the teacher and what's happened. Why? Because there is small meme above the noon of Yasma'un, and if you don't stop in that noon, you think Allah will let the people who die listen to the speech. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّمَا يَسْتَجِيبُ الَّذِينَ يَسْمَعُونَ. The one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened their heart and their ears, and they listen to the word of the Quran Kareem, they will listen to it, believe in it, and they don't reject that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went to the other category, not الَّذِينَ يَسْمَعُونَ, but al-mawta, the dead one. Not the dead one physically, and you bury them, but the dead one, which means they don't want to listen, they reject the message of Rasul Sallam. Amthal, example of Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl, Umayy ibn Khalaf, all of them die as a kuffar, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wal mawta, the dead people, not physically, but emotionally, they don't listen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment, they're going to be rejected, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring them together for their hisab in the day of judgment. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the way of the recitation of the Quran Kareem, we have to be very, very careful about it. As I said, my advice to myself and all of you, don't to put in your mind the goal to finish the Quran Kareem quickly, but to try to understand every verse, every letter, reflect on it, and you will be rewarded, inshallah ta'ala. The rest of the recitation of tonight, as I said, is ending by Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, was a dialogue between the kuffar of Quraysh and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And here I like to inject in one word to say, every word of Qul, say, Qul ya ayyuha al-kafirun, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil nas. Every other Qul in the Quran Kareem, it came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring after the word Qul as an answer. The people ask Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then Allah said to Rasulullah, say to them. They were asking Rasulullah about a miracle. Allah is able to bring a miracle. They were asking Rasulullah Sallam if Allah will bring them back after the death for hisab. Yes, Allah is able to do it. And beside me and you as a human being, the Quran mentioned a few categories. You know all the animal, you know all the bird in the heaven, all the creation of Allah, each category of them as one nation as the nation of the human being. But yes, subhanallah, the only category will be questioned and judged according to their job in this dunya, the human being and the jinn. The human being and the jinn. But the rest of the animal on the day of judgment, as in the end of Surah An-Naba, يوم يقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا, all of them will be dust and none of them will be end up either in Jannah or Jahannam. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all our reciter I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all our speakers. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me, to help my family, to help you. When we read the Quran Kareem, when we recite the Quran Kareem, let us be careful how we do it, according which school we follow. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all of you. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يغفر لكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الشيخ حمد جزاك الله خير وتقبل الله منا ومنكم إن شاء الله.
وإياكم إن شاء الله.
One ayah, my dear respected brother and sister, inshallah, please, I want you to focus about it in the Surah Al-An'am, also ayah number 44. Surah Al-An'am 44. Allah talking about us when we forget the order of Allah, when we forget the Islam, when we forget what Allah wants us to do, He not punish us. He give us everything. He give us the dunya. Because some people, they think when they have everything, they say, Wallahi, Allah love me. Wallahi, I am in good situation. But that's not true. But Allah said, the people, when they forget what Allah wants from them, then Allah give them everything in this dunya. Then He take them suddenly. Please read this ayah and try to have the meaning, inshallah. Sheikh Ahmad al-Ansar, brother Sheikh Ahmad. Ustad Ahmad, Miskin Ahmad, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Yes, احنا alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us chance to see you again. And inshallah, I hope you are healthy. We miss you. We're waiting for your advice, for your knowledge, inshallah. تفضل يا أخي.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وأصلي وأسلم عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ثم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
So first of all, it's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He made me join back again. I'm very excited and happy to see you all and make me learn from my mashayikh and from each one of you. Thank you for your care, for your love, for all the du'as that you did. And I'm slowly recovering. I am 1,000 times better than I was in August. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring me back on my feet. If not running, then walking, inshallah. After some time, I believe that what musibah has befallen on me will be in my brains and say once upon a time something happened to me. But I learned my lessons, and inshallah I'll continue to remember that. Tonight, I brought you something very practical, which we all witness while living in the United States. And that is about in our masajid or in our public gathering, when we have large gathering and Salah time comes in. And there are so many people around. So there are mashayikh, there's imam, there's adult, there's women, there's youth. Also, there are lots of children too. And what I have seen so many times, and the mashayikh are there, they can inshallah support me. But sometimes in our masajid are so loud at Salah time. I have seen many masajid, unfortunately, especially on Sundays when there is Sunday school a session, extremely loud. Children are rowdy, running around. It looks to me at least, and I'm sorry to say that perhaps those children who their parents sent to Sunday schools or Islamic schools to become better Muslims and to learn, but when they come to masajid, their suluk and their behavior, I do not find at the bar where they're supposed to be. One of the finger thumb rule is, as I always share in my workshops, I tell every single teacher, every single mother, that it is completely wrong. It's a wrong notion to think or to assume that character development or teaching manners to children, they're completed at the masajid, or the imam does it, or the teacher does it. The rule of the thumb is the tarbiyah starts from home. There are only two mi'mar, two builders of bringing good suluk to their children by modeling them inside their homes. So when these children, they go to the masajid, what the mashayikh or the imams do, they reinforce those values. They praise them. So they strengthen that as suluk. And that's how they move forward. And to tell you honestly, I spent a lot of time in MCMC. And I did so many weird things there and often got into trouble also. I was the one who was in trouble way more than others because of my habit of saying what is right. So I told Imam Rauf, my Imam Rauf was a wonderful man. He is a wonderful man. Allah bless him. So sometimes when I see this noise, I'm telling you this background before I share a story. I told Sheikh Imam Rauf on a Sunday afternoon when it was so loud, and the Imam was trying to contain order, probably like 2 minutes before the Iqamah. And he was having a tough time because he was talking, asking everyone, to calm down, and it's Salah time. So I stood up and I went to the podium. And I told Imam Rauf, man, may Allah bless you. Could you allow me to say something? And I took the, may Allah forgive me for saying that. I took the microphone and I said, Assalamu alaikum. I am so sad that our Imam was talking and asking everyone to calm down, but still there is noise. And that's not how we behave with our Imam. But that's not what I came to say to you. I came to you to say something else. I'm going to tell you bluntly and honestly that your children are purely, solely your children. They're not Imam's children. They're not your teacher's children. They're not anyone's children, because when this child was born, Allah gave this child to you. So whatever good things happening to your child, you deserve all credits, all praises. And if something goes wrong, behavior-wise, all the consequences in this world, as well as in the life of the hereafter, will be directly on your neck. This masjid is a place for ibadah. It's not a fish market. And this is so sad that when we enter the masjid, instead of finding peace, we couldn't even concentrate on my 2 rak'ah sunnah. People forget tashahhud because of extreme loud noise. This is like insane. So my request is, And I told the people, I said, if you are here from the parents and if you see your children is here, please quickly ask your child for your finger, come and sit next to you. And to make him sit quiet, it's your responsibility, not the imams. I told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me this confidence. I don't hesitate to say what I'm supposed to say. It is something else that I got into trouble, yes, Sheikh. Shibli, right after 10 minutes after Salah, when I got downstairs, I got into trouble. Said, brother Ansary, why are you doing this? People will get offended by you, said. You have to be quiet, you have to be polite. I said, brother, from the masjid member all the way downstairs to the veranda area, at least 19 people told me, brother Ansary, you said so well, please keep on saying it. He said, is that right? But anyway, so this issue is on my head all the time. And I've been searching methodologies to treat, because these your children. And then when I started learning about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's methodology of ta'lim, so I accelerated my search to find a sample from his hadith, very specifically that deals with disciplining young children. Because I imagine Rasulullah was an imam, was a leader. People love to pray behind him. In his time, there must be children around. And children are children, they're not angels. So there would be some children who must be making some noise, some childish thing, something, anything that could be possibly lead to taking the khushu' away from Salah. And this is not possible from the personality like Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that he would have seen this coming from children and he did not do an intervention. I don't believe in that, because he's Rasulullah, he's a muallim. إنما بعثت معلما, and in other riwayah, معلما ميسرا, a loving, easygoing master, easy. So then I found this sample, which I titled اللين والرفق في إصلاح الأخطاء للأطفال. So the way our Desi people do, I'm sorry, ya Sheikh. Our Desi people, the way we correct our children, we shut them down. Anytime someone does something silly, first of all, we scream, hey, stop, calm down, sit down. Or some parents, mashallah, they have something nice. They say, go outside in the park and play. Mashallah. Some they do that. Now this sample is a small story. Let me share this. Let me share the screen. So then inshallah you all, I will go qit'a of what happened actually, and we can visualize a scene in ISCJ, for example, in Masjid al-Bari, for example, in MCMC, in any bigger masajid, like for example, imagine like Ramadan. Ramadan would be a best scene to visualize this ta'lim. And the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he corrected children, while correcting children, he knew, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he knew that he is correcting young children who are children, who are not adults, who may have not enough knowledge about aqidah, about akhlaq, manners. So the most important element on the mind of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is to first teach them what ibadah is to teach them what manner is. And then they do islah. So the order with us, the Desi people, islah first, ta'lim later. We don't explain, unfortunately. We just, zajr and loud voice and discipline. And Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, first you do ta'lim. and you do ta'lim with love and rifq, so that it sits in his head, so the next time he happened to commit the same silly action, his mind reminds him that this is wrong. Our children, they repeat the offense because we do not educate them. That's a major difference. So let me, Brother Abdul Majid, you disabled screen sharing?
No, I can activate that. Just give me a second. Only Imam Muhammad can do that.
Yeah, Sheikh Muhammad. Can I share my screen? Because I also want you to enjoy.
Hold on for a second. Just a second. Imam Muhammad. Can you let me
Sheikh
know?
Muhammad, you are mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are co-host. You can share your screen, inshallah.
Okay, give me one moment. Right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right, I really
Yes,
want you.
yes.
It's a short sample. Please give me attention. And at the same time, when we go qita, like word by word, also visualize and imagine. This is a narration from a young man named Muawiyah ibn al-Hakam al-Sulami radiallahu anhu, who was recently converted to Islam, a very young man. He didn't know about adab, he didn't know about akhlaq, he didn't know about sha'air Islam, a very new entry into Islam, and he happened to be in the masjid praying behind Rasulullah. A very similar scene like this you will see in many masajid. The sheikh is leading the salah and there is hundreds of people praying and there is a lot of children. So he describes his personal experience. He says, بَيْنَ أَنَا أُصَلِّي مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ, while I was performing prayer with Rasulullah, the Jama'ah is going on, all is peaceful. Then suddenly something happened. The boy is saying, young man, is عَطَسَ رَجُلٌ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ, a man from the gathering sneezed. So then I was a young man and kid. I didn't know that we don't speak in salah, we don't talk. So then what did Dajjal say? فَقُلْتُ, I said, يَرْحَمُكَ اللَّهِ, in a loud voice. Keep in mind, it's salah time, Jama'ah is going on, and who's the Imam? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this young boy was also one of the ma'mumin, one of those praying behind him. So when I heard someone sneezing, because I didn't know that it's not proper to speak in salah, I said, Yarhamukallah. Then people didn't like me. People think that what he did was wrong. And indeed, what he did was wrong. So because they could not speak, so in order to teach or to remind the boy not to do it, what did they do? فَرَمَانِ الْقَوْمُ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ. People started staring at the boy, like, with the corner looks. What was the indication? Quiet. He didn't say quiet. Then I was a boy, I could not take it. And I did not take this correction. So there is a reaction, or there is an overreaction. No, there is an action. What was the action? Something wrong happened. A reaction came from the people. They stared at the boy during salah, indicating to him to calm down. Then the overreaction came. You mean the boy reacted also. The boy said, "Wa sakila ummaya." This is a phrase, may my mom lose me. You mean, what's wrong with you? Ma sha'nukum tanzuruna ilayya. What's your problem? Why are you staring at me? When the whole bunch of people he started staring at people, staring at the boy, Muawiyah, and of course they're doing it with a nice purpose because they saw that the boy did something against the adab of Salah, against the essence of Salah. He did something wrong at the wrong time. But because they were not able to speak, the first thing they did is to start staring at him. Then, when I am still not quiet, what did they do? وَجَعَلُوا يَضْرِبُونَ بِأَيْدِيهِمْ عَلَى أَفْخَاذِهِمْ. They started beating their hand on their thighs, like this. Why? To quieten the boy. Again, can we imagine if some situation happens behind Imam Shibli's masjid, ISCJ or Masjid al-Wali or فَلَمَّا رَأَيْتُهُمْ يُصَمِّتُونَنِي. Then I understood that they were all, by doing different bunch of stuff, they're doing an effort to quieten me, to make me silent. لكني سكت. Then I was quiet. Again, Rasulullah ﷺ is an imam, and he realizes there's something going on wrong during an act of worship which was done to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَمَّا صَلَّى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Let me complete the text and I will do some discussion, inshallah. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam completed the prayer, now look at the reaction that came from the boy. And subhanallah, if all this happens in a masjid, there must be a big trouble in a masjid. A lot of people were talking after Salah. And that what we do, we take the news outside. Oh, you know what happened in MCMC today? In this masjid today that I pair? So what happened? And he was telling the other people what happened. And I don't believe that people limit to explaining the factual occurrence. They just add something. So those who hear from him, when they tell other people who weren't even present in the masjid, they add something else because they were not present. This is another discussion. I don't want to go there. What he says, فَبِأَبِي هُوَ وَأُمِّي, my father and my mother be sacrificed upon him. And then he makes a statement to tell the people of what happened when the boy was presented in front of Rasulullah. After, you can say, committing something wrong, or after doing wrong doings in a place called Salah. He said, مَا رَأَيْتُ مُعَلِّمًا قَبْلَهُ وَلَا بَعْدَهُ أَحْسَنَ تَعْلِيمًا مِنْهُ. He said, why? I haven't seen a muallim either before him or after him. How? أَحْسَنَ تَعْلِيمًا مِنْهُ. Who's so excellent in teaching, so kind, so loving. And it's a story to me of cause and effect, action, reaction, and overreaction. So the boy, someone did something, the boy reacted, so the people reacted, so the boy reacted again, so the people overreacted by pushing their thighs or beating their thighs. That's overreaction. And then came the prophetic reaction. So beautiful, so beautiful. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not make a fuss out of it. Instead, and the boy said what? فَوَاللَّهِ مَا كَهَرَنِي وَلَا ضَرَبَنِي وَلَا شَتَمَنِي. He didn't beat me. He didn't say bad words to me. He didn't abuse me. He didn't, reprimanded me. Nothing. Instead, he taught me. He did the ta'lim. He actually told him what Salah is. قال, he said, oh my dear, listen. إن هذا الصلاة. إن هذه الصلاة. Indeed, this Salah. لا يصلح فيها شيء من كلام الناس. It's not proper. This is not right. Anything, even this little bit of conversation, like people's conversation. It means Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the first thing he told the boy, he said, this is a Salah. It's not in ordinary time. In ordinary time, Kharij al-Salah, we can talk. We can do intervention. We can do correction. But this is Salah. We can't do these things here. Brother Abdul Majid, let me know when my time ends. And then he was doing ta'lim. Innama hiya, listen, oh my dear boy, this Salah is what? It's a combination of tasbih, takbir, and qiraat al-Quran. And in Salah, what we do? We either do tasbih, we either read Quran, and we either do takbir. This tasbih, takbir, and Quran makes the whole Salah. There is no kalam here. Now, this is called, nowadays what they say? Oh man, this is why I came to the conclusion that this sister was telling me, Brother Ansary, you always speak about children issues. We Muslims do not do what Americans do. I said, oh my God, what that we shouldn't do, we don't do. He says, we have to do something called positive reinforcement. So I said, we do. When the Imam speaks to the boy, that's positive reinforcement. When the mom explains, and the father explains, told him, he said, we all yell. We all show anger first. So I said, sister, probably we are kind of a little bit far from following the method of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This positive reinforcement has been used by the best teacher on earth at a time when there was no technology, when there were no schools. By sitting on the ground and by just talking in a gathering, he did counseling, he did mentoring. You can use all these fancy, nice words. But the problem is that, unfortunately, this is my own personal opinion, that we have a lot of tarbiyah problems. We were seeing in our children habits that we think are not right. But the problem is, we try to take them to masajid first. We call counselors. I believe that within the community, if we mention Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam a little bit more frequently, talk about him, then a lot of problem will automatically go away because we do not know his method. So if we follow the prophetic life, he was a messenger of Allah, we talk about. Angel Jibreel used to come to him. He participated in battles. We talk all these bunch of issues. But there is another side of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is he was a complete father. His social life, his tarbiyah life, his connection with the youth, his connection with the children, his sports. I remember that one time Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked Aisha radiallahu anha, Aisha, would you like race with me? She said, yes, Ya Rasul. Me and you will race. So he said, at that time, Aisha was like young, very skinny, weight is less. So me and her ran, and she won. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I won. Rasulullah said, okay, inshallah. And he said, after some time, when she gained weight, right? Rasulullah said, Aisha. And sometimes because he loved her, so instead of calling her Aisha, he said, Ya Aish. He said, do you want to race with me? I said, yes, yes, yes. She accepted the challenge because she was confident of her victory last time. But then Rasulullah ﷺ won, and he looked at her. He said, this one is for the first one. So there is sports, love, games, correction. So not only, let me just review it one more time real quick. That the first line, this incident happened right at Salah time. The second line, some action took place during Salah. The second line, people reacted. There is so much so went on during Salah. Fourth line, then they crossed to the next step. They started using body parts, started banging their thighs. Fifth line, the boy understood the meaning and he was quiet. Sixth line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh line. What happened after Salah? The boy is describing what went after the Salah. He says, my parents be sacrificed upon him. I haven't seen an excellent instructor, a muallim, a teacher, than Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who used to be so excellent, so good, so loving, so kind. Then he gave his impressions. Line number 8. Wallahi ma kaharan. He never reprimanded me, nor hit me, nor abused me. Nothing. Physical, verbal abuse, nothing. In order to correct a behavior. So it's a behavior correction methodology. Normally, we do not, we lose control over our anger, emotions, and feeling. And sometimes we either speak in a loud voice or we use force to correct the bad behavior into the correct behavior, which is wrong. Number 9, then Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did ta'aleem before Islah. Because why he did ta'aleem? He explained to him what Salah is, what is the essence of Salah is, how important the Salah is. And then he told him, we do not talk or make conversation in Salah. Salah means what? Either tasbih, takbir, qiraat al-Quran. So now when you educate a kid about the essence, importance of an action, then there is good Islah for him starting next time. Any question?
There is no, it looks like Sister Hala has a question raised, and
Sure.
we are reaching at the end of the session. There are only 8 minutes left. So please go ahead. Sister Hala, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ansary. I'm so happy you're here.
Really?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the presentation. But when we were young, my mother taught us by example. And the adab of being in the masjid, okay? And, you know, she didn't have to tell us anything. She just stared at us. We knew exactly what she was saying. It came right to us. What is wrong with the new generation that doesn't understand when you look at a child, don't do this, or this is not correct, or things like that? I feel there's a...
My very quick and straight answer is, you brought a very, very, very important point. We talk about nowadays 20 million things at home. But unfortunately, sometimes, except some exceptions, we do not talk about something called adab. We don't teach adab. While Islam is a deen of adab. Every step of the way, I'm not talking about ibadat. Ibadat have adab too. I'm talking about normal, regular life. You know the culture or the ethics that the Americans follow. When you go to a store and you are about to be close to the door, didn't you have seen a person coming out? He opens the door and waits for you to enter. At the elevator, he lets you go first. When you go to the teller to pay, don't you smile? Say good morning. All these ta'aleem Islamiyya. These are Islamic ethics. We abandon that. So the children, when they don't see this at home and they come outside, sees them into someone else, he says, what's going on here? So they will say, oh, you are very better. You're better than us. That's why you said your parents taught you adab. So they put in your mind, in the baseline, what happened after that? If they happen to see you doing something, they just stare will be enough to correct. So now when you stare at any child today, it's not going to work. Why? Because the baseline is not there. I hope you understand that.
I agree. Jazakallah khair. You have to give adab. You have to know adab to give adab.
And you know what you said? فَأَقِدُ الشَّيْءِ لَا يُعْطِي. The one who does not possess anything, can he give it to someone else? No.
Ustad
Jazakallah
Ahmad,
khair.
Ustad Ahmad, assalamu alaikum. If you don't mind, can you close your screen? You still, if you finish.
I am trying to see. Stop screen over here.
Okay, mashallah. Sheikh Ahmad, we talk about this hadith, about the education on the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And most of us now, we put ourselves in the side of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by the manner. We want to have akhlaq Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but that Sahabi Muawiyah, he is Sahabi, not like our kids. Second thing, he was praying, he was in salat, he wasn't jump. We have in our masjid kids, wallahi, they like to sit down. You know the pillar of the masjid? The masjid have pillar. During the imam say Allahu Akbar, they're happy to sit down on the top of the pillar.
I know.
Okay. And most of the parents, that's what I say, they know about akhlaq Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but they don't know about their kids, how they do in the masajid. I give you example, in ISCJ, while Sheikh Ahmad was giving khutbah, two boys front of the musallin, they start to play in their kufi. Both of them like football, front of everybody, and their parent, he was looking to the imam, and never he looked to his kid. Like just to look to them by, like the Sahaba Muawiyah said, the Sahaba, they look to me, right? But I was watching the father about his reaction, even he did not look to his kids.
Yeah,
to say to them minimum, to say to them.
I agree with you. And you know the reason? That's why I don't want to talk about kids first before I want to talk about parents. Because a lot of parents, they need basic education of how to discipline their child Islamically. And if you want your child to do something and you are not doing it, he will never ever learn that. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون. So it's like leading by example. So I have seen this in Ramadan so many times. There has been a fight in the parking lot. Police came. Two older boys, right? I don't know what the reason was, but they said where the dad was. You know, the dad was in the second saf praying Taraweeh. And when they told him that something happened, go and talk, your son was making trouble. That was in front of me. I was in the masjid too. He said, Salah is more important. It's okay, my son is older enough to handle that. So when you have that approach, that mentality, so that's why I strongly believe that masajid, it is masajid's extremely important role to initiate a program for adults through khutbahs, through duruus, through lectures, that this is different. You're not living in Arab countries, in Pakistan or in India. Here, for us, opportunities of losing your children is far, far more in number and far more serious. So if you happen to lose your child here, there is no way to coming back. So this is a serious matter, Ya Sheikh. I agree with you. That's why I always think that I even told Sheikh Imam Rauf Zaman that if I were to manage the Salah schedule ever in my life, which I know that it will not be possible, I will never be able to do that. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I would have mandated Jum'ah across masajid in the United States that every fourth Friday or the fifth Friday must be delivered about youth-related matters and issues, so that the youth and the children should hear directly from the Imam's mouth about their issues. Otherwise, they sit and they come, they play, they move around. This boy told me, my best companion during the khutbah is my cell phone. I text. I said, don't you listen to the Imam? He said, brother, I want to listen to Imam. But the Imam, subhanAllah, he says, sometimes they talk blah, blah, and I don't understand what they're talking. So if we're not able to engage them, then this is what's going to happen. So the miskin wants to turn the wheel to the other way around, but I am miskin.
Let Sister Noor, she raised her hand. I think she wants something before the dua, inshallah. Sister Noor.
Yes, I just want to know, we're not supposed to talk during the Salah and during Jummah khutbah. May we come up and hold their hand and bring them and sit them down? Is this allowed?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand that. Say it again.
We are not allowed to say, hush, be quiet, come over here. But can we stand up and go to the child and bring them close to us and have them sit down next to us?
But that has to be done before Salah.
That's what I mean, is during the Salah. So if they are acting up.
During the Salah, you cannot do any action that becomes similar, that people will not consider you that you're not praying. Before Salah, you need to teach
during
them
during the khutbah. I'm sorry, during the khutbah part.
During the khutbah, you can go back and bring your child. But during the Salah, I think we're not allowed to do that.
I think that some people do not understand that they can do that during the khutbah, because that's part of a type of salah. It's a part of going to Allah.
So long we're not talking, we're maintaining silence in the khutbah. If we just want to bring our child and to make him sit next to me, I guess there is nothing wrong. But in salah, we should avoid. And I think, as I said, all the tarbiyah or all the manners, they start from home. Because this is my child.
I agree.
I have to control my child.
Yeah.
I do not agree, unfortunately, from anyone. No matter who is he, I do not agree from anyone who says that my child is not behaving, so I want to take him to the imam, I want to take him to the masjid, I want to hire a person who can give him a counseling. I said, you are failing because this is your child and this is nobody's child.
And that, I know that is very hard to hear, and I think that they already know that, and it's hard for them.
All right.
Okay, inshallah, we have a brother Salahuddin, Ifaz Salahuddin, inshallah. The time already over, but let us listen to him.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Ifaz.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Sheikh. Happy to see you.
I am so happy
again.
to see you.
Yeah, happy to see you back again. And may I just to give my salam, and may Allah give you good health and long life and happy life together, inshallah. I mean,
Jazakallah khair. You are looking so handsome now. So beautiful.
You look beautiful, mashallah.
Allahu Akbar. I used to speak on Saturdays, but because of this injury and surgery and all these, I'm slowly getting better. Thank you very much for your.
May Allah make it easy, inshallah.
May Allah bless you.
Inshallah, my dear respected brother, sister, I know most of us now, we are as a grandparent, not more parents. We don't have kids. But if we have grandkids, we take them to the masajid. The best advice, what Sheikh Ahmad said, is better to keep them around us in the Jum'ah or in the lecture. As much you keep your kids or your grandkids around you in the masjid, you can control them. But the minute when they jump away, then you cannot follow them outside the masjid, especially in Jum'ah. Ustad Ahmad, inshallah, we have many brothers, many sisters, they still in the way from Umrah to their home. I received call now from sister Ishraqa and her sister and her daughter and her nephew. They still in New York or in their way to their house, inshallah. Please keep them, all of you, keep them in your dua, inshallah. We are waiting for your dua, Sheikh Ahmad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل عليه بالأولين وصل عليه بالآخرين وصل عليه بالملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار. اللهم اهدنا لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت. لبيك وسعديك والخير كله في يديك. اللهم اجعلنا من الصالحين، اجعلنا من الشاكرين، وجعلنا هداة مهديين، وجعلنا خير والدين لأولادنا. واللهم اجعل أولادنا قرة عين لنا ولأبويهم، خيرة أولادهم، خيرة ذرياتهم. اللهم اشفي مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، اللهم اشفهم بشفائك يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية ولنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا وهم على ذلك. اللهم ارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وأكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقهم من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب أبيض من الدنس. اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس عن جميع المرضى واشف أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاء، شفاء لا يغادر سقما. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا كريم يا ودود يا رب العرش العظيم، يا من يقول لكن فيكون، يا فعال لما يريد. Give shifa and speedy recovery for all those who are sick. Accept the Umrah and the Ziyarat Bayt Allah for all those brothers from this Halaqah and for everyone who are currently visiting Saudi Arabia or they are on their way home. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them safe and sound and help them to join their families at home. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Ahmad. Brother, sister, I want to remind you about the ayah, what I say in Surah Al-An'am, Surah number 6, ayah 44. Try to read it to understand it, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. See you tomorrow. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Ustad Ahmad. Inshallah, Allah yahfazak wa yahfaz ذريتك من كل الشر يا رب العالمين.
Please give your reactions or your comments of how beneficial you found this topic.
Inshallah, we shall do
Very,
that.
it was
Inshallah,
wonderful.
جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.